Hello and welcome to another episode of, the Heat coverage on the Director's Chair Network show. This is the season where we're covering Michael Mann films. I'm your host, Ryan, and this is part 2 of Heat coverage. Craig and I covered the first 34 minutes on the last episode, and the next 34 minutes of film coverage will be done by myself and my guest co-host, Doug. Doug, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I really appreciate you inviting me on for this.
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. Of course, we have podcasts together many times on other various projects, largely on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. Check that out, where we've covered a majority or a lot of Sylvester Stallone films that aren't Rocky or Rambo. We just released at the time of this recording, Alarum, Sylvester Stallone's latest action thriller, straight to streaming services. Check that out on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. Okay. Doug, let's get into it. Everyone knows how this goes. We're gonna kind of cut out a lot of the preamble that Craig and I sort of covered with the part 1 of the series. Everyone listening now knows Heat, knows the film, where they want to hear our thoughts on the next part of the film. But before we get into that, okay, this is your first time on the Michael Mann season of the show. You covered Ed Zwick with me. You did. Don't tell me you did.
The last one was Trial by Fire, was his swan song.
Yeah.
Before that, we did Blood Diamond.
That's right.
And then early on, we did Glory.
That's right. Boy, great films. Heavy films. You handled all the heavy films.
Yeah. At that time, I knew nothing about Trial by Fire, but it looked like an interesting synopsis to me. So I picked it. And if anybody listened to that season, they'll know how it blew us out of the water. It was crazy.
Yeah. Katie, who guests on a few of those episodes that season, and she guests with me on Last Mohicans of this season, she watched Trial by Fire because of our coverage and our thoughts. And she agreed that it was a great film. So yeah, there you go, Ed Zwick. One more person watched your film because of us.
There you go, another dollar in his pocket.
That's right, man. Well deserved. Okay, well, now we're covering Michael Mann films, of course, this season. What's your overall fandom of Michael Mann? Do you have one? Have you seen his films? Do you know which films he's done?
I have never been attached to a director specifically, like outside of the main Steven Spielberg's and James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, like directors themselves, Quentin Tarantino, directors themselves don't resonate with me. I don't see like this director has a certain style that I'm attracted to, and we know our buddy Craig is just obsessed with Brian De Palma, and God bless him for it. He's digging deep into De Palma. But I'm not attached to directors in that way. So I was actually looking through his filmography, and it's remarkable how few of his films I've actually seen.
Sure, fair enough.
And Heat is the main one that I've seen. I've seen it multiple times. And I could imagine that this was a highly sought after film by your potential guests.
Yeah, that's why when I did this one, I think it might have even been Craig. Craig's actually, one, of course, he's covered De Palma on this network as well. It was him that said you should divide this film up into 5 parts, and then he also said you should make sure each co-host that doesn't cover the last part of the film gets a chance to speak to the gunfight, so I can collage that or montage that together and insert it into the final episode. So whenever we get to that part of the final episode, I'm just gonna say, okay, now here's Doug, Craig, whoever, talking about the gunfight, because we're not going to cover that today, if that makes sense. So that was a fair statement that Craig said. So yeah, thank Craig for the long drawn out Heat coverage.
Well, if you're going to do it for any film, Heat is the one to do it, because A, it's a 3-hour monster, and B, it's just so packed, like scene to scene. Out of the 34 minutes that I have, we have one like somewhat action scene, but the rest is dialogue. And I don't know, maybe the average moviegoer might say it's kind of boring, but we see the diamonds in the rough, as you will. I'm ready to jump right in.
Yeah, we're going to cover some of those scenes, but before we do, we always talk about the actors and stuff. Again, Craig and I covered a lot of that pre-discussion about the major actors, but we might as well discuss the actors that we actually see during your sequence, because a couple of them come up. They didn't come up with the first 34 minutes between myself and Craig. So let's get into it. So where we last left off, I want to hear your thoughts on this moment by Al Pacino. It happened with Craig and I, but I told Craig, I want to show Doug. I want to get your reaction to this incredible scene.
Did you fall in love last night? You went off somewhere? Vince. Just tell me that. I'll settle for it. You know what I mean? I'll buy that.
Vincent.
Give me all you got!
Vincent.
Give me all you got! I swear, me and my
Okay, so I just wanted to play that part again for you. What, was that Al being Al? Was he given direction to do that? Did he give Michael Mann a heads up that he was just going to yell, "Give me all you got"?
I can't believe it by direction. That's Al Pacino, man. Oh my God. It's like the tale of two Al Pacinos because you see him early on in Godfather 1. He's very mild-mannered. He talks softly. But man, I don't know even where the switch happens because he got this gravelly voice, the yelling. But the campiest, the most scene-chewing he's ever been has been in The Devil's Advocate.
Sure.
If you've ever seen that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is right around this time, right? And this is that same Al Pacino right here. He's trying to prime a CI, confidential informant, as we in the law enforcement community call them.
Oh, you're a police officer, right?
I am. Yes. Thanks for mentioning that. I was actually expecting it a little earlier, but
I apologize.
And nonetheless. So he's greasing a confidential informant for information, and which doesn't need to be like an over the top exchange, but Al Pacino and his Al Pacino-ness makes it him screaming at. I actually laugh. I laugh when I see him do this.
I never get tired of that because he's just because he's asking, did you get lucky? Did you fall in love? Did you get were you with a woman? Meaning, why weren't you where you're supposed to be? Because were you getting laid? Essentially, it's like he's looking for information. He just yells, "Give me all you got."
But you notice his eyes when he yells that. He doesn't have the furrowed brow. He's give me all you got. It's just like a straight face, but his voice just registers way up. Give me all you got.
I played it twice for Craig. I'll play it twice for you because it's just fantastic.
Just look at his eyes.
I'll settle for it. You know what I mean? I'll buy that. Vincent. Give me all you got! Vincent. Give me all you got! I swear, man.
He's not angry. He's not angry.
Is the actor here about to laugh? Is he laughing? He looks like
I would.
I would be like, what the hell happened? Okay. Now there's another part in this scene as well where he starts singing. Again, why are you singing?
Tonight's the best I can do for you. He'll probably leave a note right on the door. Tonight's the best I can do for you, man.
What was it? Well,
I don't know.
You're a police officer. You're talking to your colleague. Would you just start singing, Doug?
I knew me being a police officer was going to come up.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm a patrol, a sergeant. I'm a sergeant in patrol. I've been a patrolman most of my career, and I don't really have confidential informants.
Right.
But even people on the street, people that I trust, guys that, someone give us some kind of information.
Sure.
We don't talk to them like this. He's toying with the guy. And I can't imagine that this is a lot of direction by Michael Mann. He probably gives Al Pacino an outline. This is what your character is going to say. This is the script. Go do what you do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you have... Yeah, he's 55 or 6 here at this time. And there's no... Yeah, you're not really telling Al how to be Al, if that makes sense.
And we're going to see it again the next scene when he's greasing this guy's cousin or whoever he is that he meets in the club. But Tone Loc, right? That's Tone Loc that we
we'll get to Tone Loc. We'll get to Tone Loc.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, throughout this film, right up to the diner scene and afterwards, of course, it's basically Al Pacino's turn, Robert De Niro's turn, Al Pacino's turn. I get what they're doing. There's a little bit more screen time given to Robert in this film than Al, but
it's a tease. It's a big old tease because this film was marketed, I'm sure Craig brought it up, as the first face-to-face screen meeting of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
After sharing the movie, sharing title cards with one of the biggest movies, one of the best sequels ever created, Godfather 2, right? But this is the first time they're on screen together.
They shared another film together. I don't think went as well. Remember that was a
Righteous Kill.
Oh, Righteous
Kill, baby. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It was like Turk and Rooster were their names or something.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. It was an awful, awful movie. Totally forgettable. They tried, and it was a swing and a miss.
Directed by John Avent, interesting enough. That'd be one worth investigating for the Director's Chair Network. Interesting director. He did like Risky Business, Fry Green Tomatoes, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but he did Righteous Kill.
What were the character names? Was it Turk and Rooster?
Yeah, you're right. Turk by De Niro, Rooster by Pacino, and 50 Cent. You know it's going to be kind of a bad movie when 50 Cent is third build. You know what I mean? If
Just like Escape Plan.
That's what I mean. You've got 50 Cent somewhere in the top billing. It's not a very good film.
All right.
Here's the thing. This is not any offense to John Avnet, but it goes to show you the power that a director and a script has. Like you have De Niro and Pacino in the same film together. You think, oh, we're going to knock it out of the park again. No, but you don't. Why? Because of bad direction, bad writing.
Right.
It's just
bad
amazing.
Scripts.
The actors have the ability to do what they do in this film. But why is it they're doing it here and not Righteous Kill?
You can only do so much with a bad script. You can have the greatest actor, but if you give him shit to work with, where is he going to go with it?
Yeah.
That movie is completely forgettable.
Righteous Kill. Now, what is your overall thoughts on Al Pacino? As an actor, his career, is it someone that you followed, or is it just, oh, he's in this film and I like Al, so I watch it? I mean,
yeah, I mean, here and there.
Films.
I've never watched a movie specifically because Al Pacino was in it, but if there's a movie that comes across my radar and he's in it, I usually enjoy the stuff that he's in. You can't take anything away from the guy. He's a fantastic actor, and he can do a lot with, what's the one? Scent of a Woman. He plays the blind guy.
Yeah.
He again hams it up to the camera though. He's like way over the top, but he's fantastic in it. Did he win an Academy Award for that one? Scent of a Woman?
I think he did. Is that the one where he goes, hoo-ah? Is that one?
Yeah. Chris, a young kid that becomes like his caretaker.
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. So he's got one Academy Award win, 9 nominations, and he did win Best Actor for Scent of a Woman in 1993. So 2 years prior to this.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of his films. He's one of these actors where I've never seen it because he's in, except for some of his older films. I watched Serpico because of my love of Godfather films. I watched him in Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon. So I did seek those out because of him. I was like, oh, these are the early films of his. Great films, by the way. Have you seen Serpico?
I have, a long time ago. I really liked it, and I never visited it again, which I should.
Yeah. That's another director, Sidney Lumet. I know it's funny. You guys all say, you Americans say Lumet, but I believe it's Lumet. Well, actually, no, it is Lumet according to Wikipedia. So I say that. So Wikipedia does say Met, hard T, but being French, no, I'm not French, but I live in French bilingual Canada, and we would pronounce that Lumet, Sidney Lumet. But I guess it's not. It's Lumet. To me, it's always weird. I've always pronounced it Lumet my whole life.
It may very well be. It's just Americanized because he's American for all intents and purposes.
Oh yeah, he was born in Philly, of all places.
There you go.
Okay, so Al Pacino, again, great actor. I've always enjoyed him, even in silly films like Devil's Advocate. It's kind of it's a silly film, but it's a fun,
but he's great in it. Yeah,
right.
And that's everything that I've seen him in, I've enjoyed, but I never sought out movies just because he's in it.
Yeah. Robert De Niro, who's next on screen here, I've done more of his, from Cape Fear to when I was a big movie like goer as a teenager, young adult, I definitely would be very happy and to pick up a Robert De Niro film. In fact, I don't know if I watched it because Michael Mann was the director, even though I loved Last of the Mohicans. I probably just because of the trailer. I see that it's De Niro, Pacino, Val Kilmer. I'm like, well, I'm going to watch this movie. That's what it was. Oh, and Michael Mann's directing it. Well, that's an interesting choice after Last of the Mohicans. So I would say this is a film I watched because I love crime drama films, and you got Pacino and De Niro. I'm going to watch it. That's why I saw this at the time, of course. So what are your thoughts on De Niro as an actor overall?
Another great actor. Like, you can't pick two more highly rated guys to put on the screen at the same time. If you were to ask me between Pacino and De Niro, who I was a bigger fan of at this time, it would definitely be De Niro. My gateway drug for Robert De Niro was obviously Goodfellas. Yeah.
Don't sleep on Casino, man. Sharon Stone and that.
I loved Casino, but I started with Goodfellas, and then I started to seek things out with Robert De Niro more just because of Robert De Niro. Like Raging Bull was something that was never on my radar until after I saw him in Goodfellas, so I sought that out. Taxi Driver is another one that I sought out because of him. Deer Hunter. I went back to old De Niro to try to see more of his younger stuff. But yeah, meet the parents, even shit like that interested me because of Robert De Niro.
Yeah, agreed. Now, this next scene, we've got De Niro's character, Neil McCauley. He's talking to a character named Kelso, who's played by Tom Noonan. And for you, Michael Mann season followers, you'll remember Tom Noonan played the Tooth Fairy in Manhunter. So this is him here with a beard. Yeah, it's the same actor. I will say, keep the beard, buddy. Keep the beard. You look less creepy. So there's not much more to really say about the scene. This scene is just De Niro's character getting information about how the fence works and all this stuff.
It's the background on the bank heist. This is him learning about it. The introduction of the score.
He's going to get 12 million. So that's what we learned too, is a 12 million score. And Buddy here gets 100,000 up front for the information. Right. We'll do a little bit of the scene just so you can see Tom Noonan's face and how much better he looks with the beard than do you remember? Did you see him in Manhunter as a Tooth Fairy?
I never saw Manhunter, but the discussion was.
He's creepy, but he looks normal-ish here. If I hadn't seen Manhunter just as recently for my coverage of the season, I don't know if I would have recognized him necessarily from that movie.
They had 3 hold-up alarm systems, 2 telco and a cellular. See, but the signals aren't going anywhere because, see, the night before, you cut in and trick out the alarm system computer to turn itself, and the video recorder's off 20 minutes before you walk in the door.
I love how this film deals with early computer stuff a little bit. Trick the computers to turn themselves off. Because this movie came out 30 years ago. It's just funny how there's a lot of this early computer talk.
Yeah. I love how he presents that too, because obviously you're robbing a bank. You want to know what kind of security systems he has. And he's, oh, no. It's far more advanced than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And he lets it hang there for a second. He's like, oh, but the signals aren't going anywhere because you're going in the day before. You know what I mean? And then
hacking.
But yes, the way he sets it up like that, you set him up by saying that you've never seen a system more advanced than this, but it's not going to matter. You know what I mean? Because you're going to disable it the day before. I love the way he sets that up. Yeah.
Architectural, electrical engineering plan.
Schematics got the boards already built to go straight into the CPU.
They go straight out of that early computer CPU. They go straight to the CPU. Ooh, what's a CPU?
Also, I'm sure you got it on this clip when he's like, how do you know how much they have? He's like, oh, the information just flies out there. You just got to reach out and grab it.
That's right.
And then,
started talking about the internet again, because the internet wasn't called, well, I mean, it was, but in 95, I don't know if I would have understood the term internet even then. It's hard to say.
He might say the World Wide Web at this time.
Maybe, but that's what he's saying. It's out there in the cloud. But see, that's the thing. They didn't use the term cloud, but that's what he's saying. It's in the cloud. You can grab it from the cloud.
Throughout this whole scene, his delivery of stuff like that,
it's Tom Noonan. Yeah,
I know nothing about this dude, but I love it. Like when he's talking about the alarm system. Oh, that doesn't matter because you're going to go in the day before. And this, like when he's, the information's just out there. You just got to go out and grab it. He's just so level, so calm. He's got such a soft tone in his voice. He kills the scene. I wish he was in more of this movie, honestly.
12.1, 12.2 million.
That's how much they're going to get. It's 12 million. You're on. You're in.
Congratulations. And to give you a little idea of...
Then off in the distance there, we have John Voight. I think we forgot to talk about old John Voight there. He's...
The hairdo.
His hair is horrible in this film. And I'll say this about John Voight. I've never sought out a film that he's in. If he's in it, I'm always like, sure, whatever. Of course, his greatest film, was he not in Deliverance with Burt Reynolds?
Yeah, he was in Deliverance. That's his greatest film?
I think
All right.
so.
I guess
what would you say? What would you say his greatest film is?
I don't really see John Voight as a great actor. I don't know if I could pick a greatest film. I've seen him in a bunch of things, but nothing stands out. He's just there. You know what I mean? Like National Treasure. I like him.
He's 86 now. He's 86 now. The greatest thing he's ever done is actually producing Angelina Jolie as a daughter.
That's
probably the greatest thing.
Does Anaconda count? Like he was in Anaconda.
I love that scene of him staring at Jennifer Lopez. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's totally eye effing her. She's like drying her hair or whatever. So John, he's special ambassador to Hollywood incumbent right now. That's what he's. That's his job. He's the special ambassador to Hollywood. He's serving with Mel Gibson and Stallone.
Yeah, he's.
What do you think they do? What do they do? I wonder. What's their duty?
I don't know. They just pump Republican propaganda throughout Hollywood in a Democrat-dominated,
He's 86. Let the man rest.
You and Craig covered the holdup at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Right. So he's talking to the banker who they stole the bonds from.
Right.
Right. Correct here.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to.
No, do whatever you want. Just say whatever you want, wherever you want. It's all good, brother. There's no rules here.
I'm not an accountant. I'm not a banker. I don't know math really good, but I know they stole these bonds from the guy, Van Zandt.
Yeah.
And they want to sell the bonds back at 60% of what they're worth.
Right.
And so he can make an automatic 40%
with insurance coverage or something like that as well.
Something like that. Yeah. No, he gets 100%. They're 100% covered by insurance. But when he gets the bonds back, then because they sold them to him at 60%, his own bonds, then I guess he can resell them. And since he already spent 60% on them, that when he resells them, he makes 40%.
Yeah. This is why I'm not a criminal. I get lost in the math. And they say math won't help you. It even helps the criminals, right?
Listen, I know you have a criminal or two listening. Please help us out with the math.
Yeah,
am I right?
So yeah, John Voight does a serviceable role playing. Nate is the name of his character. He seems to be kind of like the go-between a little bit.
He's the fence.
Yeah, that's right.
The fence is the one that takes the stolen goods and sells them. He's the go-between.
Like literally the go-between, like a fence separating 2 yards.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And take the bonds back from us at 60 cents on the dollar and make yourself another 40%.
So he's talking to the William Fichtner character now, who plays Roger Van Zandt. William Fichtner, we didn't talk about him in the previous episode, I don't think very much. Of course, he was big in Armageddon. That's one of his bigger films.
Yeah.
He was in the comedy show that I actually watched with my wife, Mom, the CBS comedy show Mom. I enjoyed it. I watched it with Becky, and he was a character in that. He played a guy in a wheelchair for that.
He was
show.
William Fichtner. I never knew his name, but I seen him in everything.
Oh,
he was one of those, as you know, we called back in the day, one of those that guys. You know, you've seen him in everything, but you never actually knew his name. He never had a starring role, but he was always like a fringe character, background character. Yep. Always played a part, but you never knew his freaking name.
He was in Prison Break for 60 episodes, Entourage for a spell. So he's been very busy just in TV and movies. He's one of those working actors. Yep. He just has that face and voice for it. So a lot of his roles are a little bit, Yeah. Did you see who he's walking with there?
Henry Rollins.
Yeah. Okay. So Henry Rollins, lead singer, Black Flag, the punk band. It was about 8 years ago, maybe between 5 and 10 years ago. I saw Henry Rollins in concert, not music, but spoken word. He did a spoken word. He did an hour and 20 minutes of talking.
How is that a concert?
Well, it's not. It's an event, or it's a speaking, like a.
It wasn't music.
No, he just spoke about his life and things, and it was an incredible night.
Really?
I was engaged for 80 minutes. I even bought a shirt from the event. I still have it. It was like a speaking tour.
No kidding.
Yeah. I went so I've seen Henry Rollins on a speaking tour. You look it up to see what it was?
No, I'm actually looking at up him because I know he's been in stuff.
Oh yeah, he's been in TV shows.
He always plays like a kind of psychotic musclehead guy. He's been in a good amount of stuff.
He's on tour right now. I think he's doing the Capitalism tour, is what it's called.
Been in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
a lot of things.
So, anyways, yeah, it was quite. I enjoyed it. My brother treated me to that. Thanks, Ruben. It was Ruben.
That's
actually.
Great.
Ruben did. It was fantastic. I had a great time, and I was surprised how I thought, it's gonna be kind of boring, but no, he's very engaging.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure he's got stories to tell too.
I was actually just listening to a Conan O'Brien show, and he had Bill Hader on. And Bill Hader shared a story of Henry Rollins meeting David Lee Roth. I know I'm going all over the place here, but follow me here. So David Lee Roth was doing a morning show back when he was doing morning radio or whatever it was, or he was either a guest or host. I can't remember. He was on Sirius for a spell, but so it was like 6 a.m. or whatever, And David comes out of the booth or out of the room in the hallway, and there's Henry Rollins to his like guest gig or whatever. And David's, Bill Hader does voices. I can't do voices. Bill Hader can do voices, but so David Lee Roth goes, "Hey man," he's wearing like his Diamond Dave robe,
Yeah,
it's like 2006 or something like that.
Probably fresh off a bender from the night before.
Yeah, this is 20 years ago. So he opens up his robe and he has like bottles of beer in his robe or whatever, like alcohol. They're probably not very big, like little shots and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
He goes, "Yeah, you want a drink, man?" To Henry. Now Henry's like, he's a straight edge. He doesn't do drugs or alcohol. And Henry's, "No, man, I'm good, And David Roth goes, "What, you go to school tomorrow?" "What, you going to school tomorrow, man?" Anyways, Bill Hader does a much better job, but I could just picture that whole scenario. But yeah, Henry Rollins has a little bit part in this, and he's very serviceable, being William Fisher's go-to guy.
Yeah, he's heavy.
Yeah, literally. Nothing really happens in this scene other than it's just interesting that Henry's there. But I love how William Fisher's wearing that classic, the classic headset. That's very 90s.
Oh yeah.
I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I don't have time to hang up or answer the phone. It's just always on my head, good to go. So we go back to De Niro and Tom Noonan's character talking about how do you get this stuff? And so it's here. If you want to hear that?
An estimate. Those are exact figures. I had a printout here of the cash flow of the bank for the past 2 months.
How do you get this information?
Just comes to you. This stuff just flies through the air. They send this information out. I mean, it's just beamed out all over the fucking place. You all have to do is know how to grab it. See, I know how to grab it.
That's what I was talking about before. Like just such a soft delivery.
Yeah, you just have to know how to grab it. It's so true.
Yeah.
The next scene, of course, is we see Val Kilmer's character. His name is Chris.
Did we miss the scene with Fincher and Henry Rollins?
Oh, I just skipped through. We're not going to play every scene. I'm trying to stick to more memorable.
Oh, the one thing I was going to say about that scene is like David Vincent in that scene. He's like this banker who all of a sudden has got a set of balls.
Yeah.
He obviously has no idea the people he's dealing with.
He does later.
And he's just like, "Oh, fuck these guys. I'm going to kill them." I go, "Let's see how that works out for you."
You gonna deal with these guys? So word's on the street, it's okay to steal my stuff. I'm gonna kill this sons of bitch.
So he goes, "I'm going to kill these sons of bitches." And that's the action sequence you mentioned earlier, where he does attempt to put a hit on De Niro's character in that meet and greet, and it goes south for those poor guys. We'll play a little bit of that. Okay. Val Kilmer's character's name is Chris, and he's drunk on De Niro's floor at his furnitureless mansion. And Robert De Niro was nice enough to call his wife at home with their baby, saying, "Hey, your husband's here." Basically, Val Kilmer's character is a degenerate gambler. So he makes good money on these hits, but he gambles it away. What do you think of Val Kilmer in this film? In general, as an actor? Rest in peace, obviously.
Yeah, I know that's a sad one. Val Kilmer, man, this was his heyday.
Yeah.
I loved Val Kilmer. Never sought out things with him in it, but the stuff that I saw him in, I always thought he was a fantastic actor. You actually pity this guy. He's one of the more hardcore killers in this movie, but you kind of feel for him with the shit that he's going through with his wife and the kid that he has, and it's just you kind of want him to make it out in the end.
Do you ever notice his elbow in this movie?
I did, yeah. Is there anything behind that?
I guess we should have read it. So let me just see here. He's got it's like a tennis ball tumor in his elbow. It's weird. Sorry. I'm like Val Kilmer elbow, Val Kilmer elbow growth bump. So what is
There's got to be. I'm sure people have noticed.
Oh, so Val Kilmer's elbow in the movie Heat was visibly swollen and had an abnormal growth due to previous injuries sustained while filming The Doors. He broke his arm after jumping from a stage into the crowd, and the stuntman failed to catch him, leading to persistent abnormal growth on his left elbow. Okay. This injury is clearly visible in scenes from Heat. Oh, yeah, it is.
And Doors wasn't long before this.
I guess not.
2-3 years.
I didn't know that. It's because of an injury 4 years previous. Well, still 4 years he's dealing with that. So, yeah. Poor guy. Good thing that was the last health issue he'd ever have to deal with. So that's good.
Oh, no.
All right. So he's at De Niro's pad. So De Niro asks him, like, do you have any other stuff on the side? And I thought he was at, it's funny. I was naive to think he was asking, do you have any jobs on the side? He's asking, do you have any girls on the side?
I got to hear it in context again.
Yeah.
Furniture.
When I get around to it.
So he goes, when do you get furniture? And De Niro says, when I get around to it.
Charlene's gonna leave me.
Why?
Not enough steaks in the freezer.
With everything we've been doing?
So that he goes, Charlene's going to leave me. And De Niro's like, why? Because not enough steaks in the freezer.
I love the way they talk.
Yeah, I know.
It's
very clever.
Like,
I don't feed her properly, but it's not enough steaks in the freezer. Yeah, it's a clever way of saying that. There's no food.
I'm broke.
I'm broke. And then De Niro's like, with everything we're doing, do you have money? I don't get what's the deal here. But look at the scene. This is a very Michael Mann shot scene. The color palette, the angles of Val in the front, De Niro on the back. Then there's a couple of other wide shots here, Michael Mann, which I noticed a very thematic type stuff that he does as a director. Very wide shots. He loves the wide screen shots. Yeah. And the widescreen became a real thing, I think, in the 90s. I think that was the widescreen DVD releases. Remember the big widescreen? Widescreen.
Yeah. And you had to get a widescreen TV so you wouldn't have the black bar on the top and the bottom. Yeah.
That's right. So this is definitely, you can tell this is a widescreen shot.
Vegas is Super Bowl. Clean me out.
So he's gambling on the Super Bowl in Vegas.
I'll get around to it.
So then he asks him, it's time to deflect, when are you going to get an old woman that's going to nag at you? Yeah, when I get around to it, he says.
You got something else on the side?
There you go. You got something else on the side? When I first heard that, because he's talking about money problems.
Yeah,
I thought he's talking about, like, hey, my job's not paying you. Do you have something else to help with the finances? But I think he's asking about girls. Because they're talking about girls. Because when are you going to get a girl? When I get around to it. So that context, you go. But it wasn't until I watched it again recently. I was like, oh, I think he's actually asking, do you have another woman on the side? Because he asked, does she have something on the side? And again, I thought, is she making money? See, me just being a normal provider for my family, I'm just thinking of a financial thing. Like, oh, I thought you were talking about, do you have extra jobs?
Yeah, I think the context would lead me to believe also he's talking about money. Do you have anything else on the side?
But it's girls.
Yeah, interesting.
Think of the context of girls. He says no, and then he asks about his wife. Is your wife stepping on you?
Nothing regular.
But he says nothing regular. See? He fools around on his wife.
Oh, and then she got something else on the side.
Yeah. He goes, does she got something else on the side?
She got something else on the side?
No.
You sure? See?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because why would you say, are you sure? Are you sure she doesn't have a job? No. He said, are you sure she's not stepping on you? Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. Remember Jimmy McElwain on the yard?
Okay. So now this is a big moment in the movie, of course. This is where the title of the movie comes from. But what does he mean, Doug? What does it mean? This is that part that everyone loves in a movie when the title of the movie gets referenced in the film. Everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the first of 3 or 4 times this line is mentioned.
Yeah. So you set it up, folks. He's just. So you remember what Jimmy used to say? It's always that guy. It's always the wise old mafia.
Some guy from
Jersey.
Jail. Yeah. Some guy from Jersey.
That's right. Remember what he used to say? And I love how he's got the quote like down pat memorized. Oh, but that was a smart mafia guy. But here we go. Here's the famous line.
You want to be making moves on the street, have no attachments, allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner. Remember that?
You spot the heat around the corner. Of course, that's law enforcement. So if you got trouble, friction, if you got something coming around the corner that's going to cause friction, heat, danger, you got to be willing to leave everything behind. Women, children, friends, family, or you're in the wrong business. And I love how, of course, we learn later, De Niro doesn't follow his own advice, of course. The power of the P word, my friend. The power of the P word.
He doesn't, but then he does. That's for the future.
That's for a different guest. He's thinking.
For me, the sun rises and sets with her, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you got like this mantra that this guy lives by, and he believes it, and he wants his guys to believe it too. But he respects the fact that Chris loves his wife.
Yeah.
And the sun rises and sets with her, and he's like, yeah. And Chris is, yeah. And he's like, okay. He accepts that. He doesn't force his mantra on Chris. And you root for Robert De Niro in this movie. You root for his character. Not that you want to see him win the day. You don't want to see him whack Al Pacino's character, but you're kind of rooting for him. And it's because of scenes like this. Like he respects the fact that Chris loves his wife, even though he doesn't buy into his walk away mantra, you know?
He's a bad guy with a heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's another classic Michael Mann sequence here. Another wide shot. This is a great shot there of them just at this huge windows. You got to hire window cleaners for this house, right? If you can afford this house, you're
right on the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. Just a great shot there.
Mm-hmm.
We are introduced to a new character. This is the poor ex-convict who's going out into the world to work to get back into the what do they call that program when convicts go out and work? And
it's like a co-op thing. I'm not sure like if there's a name for it or something like that. It's like a co-op kind of thing, like a work release thing. You're still under the government's watch, but they set you up with a job. Parole sets you up with a job, so you're working, keeping yourself busy, yet you're still not technically a free man yet.
So he played by Dennis Haysbert, which I quite love. I became a fan of his because of the show 24 was when I really became a big I've seen this film before the show 24 came out, but I just didn't know him as Dennis Haysbert back then. He had a small role in this film, but he plays a very for the scene that we have with him, nothing bad happens yet, but he plays just he's trying to get his life in order. He goes to the restaurant to work, and he finds out that he's like, yeah, I'm really good on the line. And he probably worked in the jail line. He goes, I work with food. I'm good line. The other guy's like, that's great, but you're going to start to clean up the crapper and the toilets. And
Mr. Michael, I'm down breathing. Grierson, my parole officer, told me to come by here and said you had a job for me.
So you're familiar with this kind of operation, huh?
Yeah, man, I'm a great grill man.
Good for you. Here, you'll mop out the toilets, hit the dishwasher, bust tables, and empty the garbage, too. Give me a hard time, I'll report you loaded, drunk, or stealing, and I will violate you back so fast your head will spin. 25% of your take-home kicks back to me. Rules of the game. Bo Grierson, check it out.
To be fair, he is new on the job, and he gets the bust tables. He's not always in the toilet. He's basically a cleanup crew.
Later, we see him on the grill, too, to be fair.
Yeah. But for now, he feels a little bit bent out of shape about it. But it's a start. But the guy did say, I'm going to take 25% of your pay. Oof, that's the part. That's the extortion part where it's like, I'm taking 25% of your pay. If you don't like it, I'm just going to say you had drugs on you, and they'll take you away.
Exactly. It's a grift. The guy hires cons just so he can get a cut. This is the brilliance. See, I don't know Michael Mann as a director, but...
Oh, there's time to say what you see, though.
You need a 3-hour movie to extrapolate stuff like this. Like each little character, this guy turns out to be a bad dude, but each of these minor characters, these side characters, you garner some kind of feeling for them, right? Yeah. This guy, he's hard on his luck, down on his luck, fresh out of the joint. He's looking for some scraps, and he gets a job, but of course, the first thing he gets is shit on. So you start to feel for this guy. It's like you start to root for the bad guys, but you can only do that when you kind of flesh out their character a little bit. Now you throw this guy on scene as an ex-con and be like, boom, you're our driver. You don't really care about the guy. Michael Mann makes you care about this guy.
That's where we're seeing all those little backstories and stuff. Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
This is where he's taking a little bit of the handbook on this film, the Ed Zwick handbook of get to know the characters. He's juggling a lot of different characters and relationships in this film. This is the most relationship-y that he has been, Michael Mann, as director, in his first, is his film number 4 or 5. I think it's, it's 5. Boy. Yeah.
Flying through this.
Boy, oh boy. Okay, so I love the scene here with De Niro. He's on the phone with William Fisher's characters. He's for the drop location. And what I love is we don't see why when he's told to be put on hold. It's really great acting. We don't know why as a first time viewers. What is Robert looking at? His character.
Yeah,
he's looking off the distance, and it's a real testament to his acting ability, where he's so good at being cool, tough guy. It's hard to explain the way he's able to just look at something in a cool, stoic, badass way. That it's actually acting to do that. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to pull it off. I'm such a pansy compared to this guy. I just can't pull off cool, tough. I just can't. But we find out later he's looking at the motel room that Chris's wife, Ashley Judd, plays the character is at. So that's what he's looking at. But we don't know that at first. As he's waiting for the phone call, for audio listeners, I'm sorry, but for our YouTube listeners or watchers, what I'm talking about here. Now he's looking. We don't know why he's looking over there, but he's looking. Now they're writing down the phone number for them to call him back on a different line so they don't implicate themselves. Black Flag singer Henry Rollins comes out to grab it, takes it. So he's still looking.
Doing his banking thing.
He's looking. We don't know why he's looking over there. We just think he's waiting for the phone call.
Yeah.
There's a drive-in on Sentinella, 2:30 tomorrow.
Okay, just send one man alone.
For all we know, he could be looking at the bank until the reveal.
Yeah.
Outside the bank.
Kiss. So we see Ashley Judd kissing Hank Azaria.
And Mo the bartender comes out.
And a poo. Great voice actor, Hank Azaria, folks. So obviously she is stepping out. He was right that she was doing that on Chris. Now, I like Ashley's hair in this scene. It was terrible in the first scene that we see her in, but it's really great here, just FYI. And I do enjoy Robert's acting of that tough mafia type acting when, the woman, like he's about to slap her, but he doesn't. Yeah. I got a kick out of that tough guy.
Shows his aggression in other ways.
He slams the hangers with his hands.
Yeah.
So Apu says goodbye. De Niro does not look very impressed. He pretends he's the cleaning lady with the shop.
I like that.
It's very classic.
That's what gets her to open the door.
Yeah.
That's one of those subtle things.
Who was that guy?
Nobody.
Who was that guy?
He's
I gotta
nobody.
know who he is. Who is he?
He's nobody. Neil.
Listen, you.
He's a legit.
Listen, you. What was he about to say?
He doesn't.
Listen, you.
He doesn't even curse. He's almost there, but.
Now, Ashley looks she's like a mixture of so many different actresses here with the blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like Katherine Heigl mixed with.
Yeah.
Weird. There's so many different looks here. She's 27.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron mixed with Katherine Heigl mixed with. Yeah, and she's a lovely woman. She's 27 in this film.
She looks good here. In this scene specifically, yeah.
That's what I mean. Her hair's really done nicely here. The other haircut she had or styling she had previously
it was like slicked.
Weird
like
1950s
blowback thing. Yeah.
So he basically tells her not to see this guy anymore, get him out of your life, and you have a second chance with Chris.
And he was going to pay.
Yeah.
She's gonna straighten it up with you.
It's too late. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Shut up! Here's the deal. You will give Chris one last shot. After that, he fucks up, then I will finance setting you up myself. On my own, any way you want. Dominic will go with you. And my word counts.
And my word counts. So he'll take care of her. If Chris messes up, he'll take care of her.
Fair enough.
So this is the scene here where Al Pacino does meet Tone Loc at the bar, and this is where he finds out who Slick is. He doesn't think Tone Loc has anything for him, but it turns out he says the word Slick. Slick, I know that name. Who's the Slick guy? I know from that one nickname they're able to find out is Tom Sizemore's character. But I just love the way Tone Loc. He should have gotten more acting gigs. Of course, he was in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And then
he's a goofy character in Ace Ventura.
But his voice is so unique. I kind of wish he did more acting because I just like hearing him talk.
Yeah.
Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah. It's the one thing he's known for, man.
Oh, yeah. So let's hear a little bit of his voice styles here. I think it's just fun to listen to.
Before we even get into that, there's this crew ripping rides all along the beach areas. All right? Now, the back of a trim shop on Irvine, if somebody was to pay a little visit this weekend, they might find 2 turbos and a 911 slow.
So basically, he gives him a Fast and Furious setup. That's not why he's there. He's like, I don't care about cars or whatever. I love how Al gets mad. The way he gets mad, cuffs the guy and holds him by the head here for a second.
You're looking to judge yourself for your competition.
Exactly.
I'm a good citizen.
I'm Donald Duck. So you got something to tell me or what?
Check this out, cuz. How do I know if I tell you what you need to know, you're gonna do what the fuck I need to get done?
Richie, me and Hannah is straight up, man. We do business all the time.
Yeah, here we go.
Because you rap motherfucker. And you know because I say so. After I hear what the fuck you gotta tell me.
Look here, man. You understand what I'm saying? I get killed for telling you this shit.
All right.
It's not the correct way to grease a CI. Like, you don't call them a rap motherfucker. You know they are. You want to be a little more tactful.
Yeah, let me remind you, you're a rat.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I get killed doing this. What do you like? Al's character's bedside manner is it's so funny here, and there's a scene coming up I can't wait to talk about. But yeah, so this is basically the scene where they get slick. They find out that it's Tom Sizemore's character. It's a big breakthrough for the case, obviously, because it leads them to the crew.
Yeah. He has a name to go with the street name.
That's right. Now here's the meetup, and this is a great shot sequence here. So the meetup is, what is it that he's grabbing from the guy again? It's supposed to be was it the bonds or was it cash?
It's the cash to buy back the bonds.
Okay.
So it's like an exchange.
So the guy comes up in a
Dodge Ram, dually.
Put your hands where I can see.
No, this guy looks like an everyday middle-aged man, dad, very unassuming banker-looking guy.
Right.
And De Niro has an earpiece in for the phone. He's on the mic with Val Kilmer's character on the roof. We don't know that as a viewer just yet, but that's what the earpiece there is for. He does everything by the book here. Give me the package with your right hand, keep your left hand on the wheel, which, so you can't shoot me. But in between the vehicle, we have Fitchner's goons. Remember, he says, I'm going to kill those guys. See if they can steal my money. I'm going to kill them. So he is going to murder them. He almost would have. But this way, if Val Kilmer wasn't on the roof, he would have been dead.
Yeah. Part of the shot is seen through the side view mirror. So you think that Robert De Niro's character should be able to see him sneak up on the side. But
yeah, so
I mean, movie purposes, the script says so. We get what's going on.
So we get a bit of a, Doug said at the beginning of this episode, we get a bit of an action sequence on our 34 minutes here, because this stuff that happens after this is a lot of couples. We just see all the cops with their girlfriends, and all the bad guys with their girlfriends. We see both the good guys and the bad guys with their respective girlfriends and wives, and that's why Robert De Niro's character goes back and hooks up with Amy Brenneman. So here's the little sequence here. And I love the heavy artillery. What kind of gun is that?
It's like probably like an AR-15, like a smaller rifle. M9, that sort of thing. Now, this right here is the thing that bothers me about this scene.
What is that?
So, you have to shoot because of your job, right? You have to qualify with firearms.
Yeah.
I have to qualify with firearms because of my job. Now, as Robert De Niro is driving over those bumps, he's aiming a gun out the windshield. And he's shooting over those bumps. There's no way that you can zero in on a target the way that the car is moving.
No.
Not only did he have Val Kilmer in his pocket, he also had Michael Trito, Slick, Tom Sizemore to finish off the driver.
So here's the scene here. They've taken care of the hitmen that were out to get them. They find out that, of course, that the cash was just a bunch of paper. And Fitchner's character thinks it's been taken care of, but no, instead of the hitman calling him saying the job's done, the target's calling him saying the job is not done.
Van Zandt?
Yeah, who's this?
You know what this is.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I sent a guy to deliver the package.
He didn't call. Is everything right?
Tell you what, forget the money.
What?
So De Niro's character's like, you know what? Forget the money. Don't worry about the money. You don't have to give us the money. And I love this. Why don't I have to worry about the money? This is great.
Forget the money.
It's a lot of money. What are you doing? What do you mean, forget the money?
What am I doing? I'm talking to an empty telephone.
I don't understand.
Because there was a dead man on the other end of this fucking line.
You can imagine the dread.
Oh yeah, the hitmen are dead. He's just a Weasley banker. You know, what's he going to do to stop these guys?
His MO is he doesn't do the dirty work himself. He has to hire the heavy to do it for him.
This next sequence there's no real memorable scene, but it's a dinner scene with the baddies and their girlfriends and wives, and Tom Sizemore character gives his girl a ring, and they're all lovey-dovey, and Robert's looking around thinking, man, I kind of want a woman. He gets a little bit horny thinking about his girl that he had a one-night stand with. So he calls her up, and she even says, I thought we were just doing a one-night stand. I guess you really want to see me? And he says, yeah, I'm feeling kind of horny here. I want to see you again. Now, you know who she reminds me of, Brennan? Have you ever watched The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Maggie.
Lauren Cohen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like doppelganger. It's weird.
I could totally see that. I wouldn't have picked that out, but you're right. Yeah.
But once you see it, she sounds like her too with the accent. So Judge Amy's happy. She's going to get laid by De Niro again. They leave the party. The baddies. There's Trejo. A little cameo of Trejo. Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
They're leaving the party, and then we have the cops up there looking down. This is kind of a funny little scene, but we have all the cops looking down from an upper ledge, window, balcony.
Doing surveillance.
You got Wes Studi there. You've got, of course, Pacino's there. They're just saying that's who this is, that's who that is. And it's funny, they don't know who De Niro's character is. Of course, it's Al's character says, who's that guy? Well, that's your acting mate. That's who
He's the wild card.
Yeah, but of course it's Al's character that says, who's that Robert De Niro guy?
Yeah.
So they point out Slick, it's Todd Sizemore. They point him out, and they basically just say who everyone is.
They know him. They know who Val Kilmer's guy is.
Long hair is Christian hairless. SIS has got a revolving tail hung wire on the house front.
So they got
Metals depository 3 times. Platinum silver.
That's the guy talking there is the Bubba Gump actor. Bubba Gump.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors in this film, eh?
Yeah, there is. Did you notice the one cop just said his name? Drucker? Is that his name? Drucker? What's his name?
Oh, to put the lotion in the basket, dude?
Yeah.
Levine?
Yes.
Yeah. Puts the lotion in the basket. He's got such a unique voice.
He does. Yeah, totally. I didn't even recognize him. I recognized the voice before I noticed his face.
Oh, yeah. Puts the lotion in the basket.
Or gets the hose again.
Yeah, it gets the hose again. I might cover Jonathan Demme just so I can do Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I freaking love that movie, and I love Jodie Foster.
That's a good one.
Much.
Yeah, that was your gateway drug, right?
That was
Jodie Foster.
Oh, I hard crush on her hard. Like, just when I found out that she was
barking
gay,
up the barking up the wrong tree.
You know what? Like I told, who did I tell that to? I can't remember who I told to, but it was less heartbreaking because it's like, well, she wouldn't have loved me anyways. You know, she's not.
So you justify it. Yeah,
it was justified. Yeah, There you go. Who's the loner? Says Al Pacino. That's De Niro's character. Okay.
First time we're seeing him.
First time seeing them, but we're gonna talk to him later.
Right. So they got wires on everybody except Robert De Niro. This is upsetting.
This is great. It's a very upsetting, great scene. But the actress who plays the young, lovely woman, I don't know her name. I'm sorry. She's done her deed with this creepy dude, played by Kevin. Yeah, Wayne Grohl, played by Kevin. We talked about him last episode. Kevin Gage is his name. He hasn't really done anything like of note, but what he has done of note is he's married 2 dead women.
Oh wow!
Both of his ex-wives are dead.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? He was married to Kelly Preston for a while.
Oh wow!
Who she married John Travolta after him, I believe. She's hot.
Have you? I'm sure you have seen Kelly Preston like in her prime, her heyday.
Oh yeah.
She was one of the hottest girls alive.
He was married to her from 85 to 87.
I hope he looked different because in this movie,
I'm sure 40 years ago,
hellbilly.
40 years ago, he was 25. So
yeah, but But
Yeah, I'm sure he
I
looked
mean,
different.
it would have been 10 years ago from this movie.
And then he married his second wife in 06, Shannon, and she died too.
This scene here, it serves one purpose, is to establish what a monster he is.
And that's what's great about it. But yeah, his lovely wife who passed away, and I make nothing light about that, but she passed away. They were married for a while. I think they got married, and then she passed away during their marriage. Her name was Sharon Paris Knight. Rest in peace. But it must be weird for him to have like, two women you're married to both dead before you're 70. It's kind of weird. It's just
yeah.
But anyways, he does a great job, and I'm just surprised he's not in more stuff because sorry, back to this girl. She does a great job acting like a hooker in the sense of the way she loves him up. So you're great. You're the best lay I've ever had.
Yeah.
She plays it so well. Like she sounds like what
a lip service.
Girl. Yeah, the lip service is perfect. So let's play that out. And you're lying to me is so you know how quickly it turns. You start to feel very fearful for her because you know right away. Oh, she's dead. She's dead. Yeah.
Hey, baby, time to go.
Showed you good time, didn't I?
It's like I showed you good time.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, oh yeah.
You fly.
You fly, you cool. So she's, laying on the charm, but because she's in a dangerous, and she knows this is a dangerous guy. Now she's a teenager according to her character, even though the actress is probably 24 or 5, but she's playing a 16-year-old.
I can't imagine a hooker's perspective, but even though the deed is done, you're still not safe.
Well, no, because the money hasn't been exchanged yet. This is the sad thing about this is, okay, I did things with you. Time, I gotta go, baby, back on the street. Yeah,
so she's still gotta butter him up and
get the money.
Yeah.
Oh, he's scary.
Yeah, look at his eyes.
I can always tell when people lie to me.
He goes, "You're lying to me. I can always tell when people lie." And she is lying. He's not wrong. There's no way she thinks he was a good time. Right. But the way she sauces him up here as a worker, again, very good job because she sounds like a worker. You know what I mean by that? Like,
yeah.
I ain't lying. You a hot dog, a regular rodeo rider, and this was the monster fuck of my young life.
I imagine some people just like to be talked up, and maybe that's what she's playing here. Just talking him up.
Oh, she's trying to. She knows her life's in danger. Let me look at the guy.
Yeah, I know he's scary.
She goes. Now she's real talk. She goes, well, I don't know what's going on here. He's like, you don't know what's going on here? I'm gonna kill you. That's what's going on here. And thankfully, he says the Grim Reaper is visiting with you. Thankfully, we're spared the murder, which is nice.
His eyes stay cold the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, a very clever scene. It shows like a beer bottle being popped open because that's probably that's what he did to her neck, broke it back, and then he's at a bar drinking and smoking. He just kills someone, just chill.
Again, that's just to display what a monster he is.
Yeah,
you know how I was saying earlier on with Dennis Haysbert's character and I guess Robert De Niro's character, how they give you background where you feel for the guys. The background they give you on Waingro is that you hate this guy.
Oh yeah,
he's a monster. He's a monster, bad guy through and through. You want him to die, or you want everybody else to make it out.
Which is crazy because if you obviously you didn't forget, but at the beginning of the film, they killed 3 family men or husbands. You know what I mean? Who went to work and didn't come home. That's pretty brutal. They did do that too, but it's weird how we have more like feeling of anger towards him and to her death and those poor 3 family men at the beginning. Isn't that weird, eh?
Yeah. And we get another scene right here that kind of hits close to home for me because I've had to give death notifications before.
Yeah, I'm sorry you've had to do that. And I mean, there's not, but did you do it like him?
Okay, so, no. It's not as sexy and glamorous as Al Pacino, but I've had somebody.
I want to show you the scene before. Keep in mind these 2 characters in this unit have never met each other. Okay, this is the poor mother who somehow knows that her sex worker daughter is dead on the pavement for however she got the news. I'm not sure. Next of kin wasn't notified yet. Maybe she turns tricks in the neighborhood. I don't know. Right. Which is probably very possible. So anyways, so the mother, of course, breaks the police tape to go see her daughter. Al stops her, doesn't say anything, but just the way he holds her and rubs her hair and slow talks her, it's like, are we consoling to like sexual intercourse? It's like Dirty Dancing mixed with, it's a weird.
It's a little weird.
It's a little, no, because keep in mind they don't know each other from Adam. But like, I'm sorry you lost your daughter, but I'm holding you more now than I've held a woman in a long time. Yeah. So this is watch
and all right. After it plays out, I'll say my piece.
So he takes a look at the dead woman, a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I love Al Pacino's. I've seen a million dead bodies before. The way he responds to this, like, isn't that pretty? That's nice. That's nice. He says he's chewing his gum.
DNA check on the semen. My intuition says it's coming up the same guy, so it's a series and ending up in your court.
Sheriff's homicide getting anywhere there?
Not yet.
So here she comes. Here goes the mother.
As we're watching this, focus on Al Pacino throughout this whole exchange.
Yeah.
Look at his face, the emotion on his face.
I almost want to add like a Dirty Dancing, like some sort of like love ballad. You're the wind beneath my wings, or Dust in the Wind, or whatever ballady song. It just seems like
the way they're twirling around.
And then they hold each other again. I need to know what happened. He pulls her back again. Oh, Kim, it's such a...
but look, I know what you're saying, and
you have to know what I'm saying.
Maybe I can't remove myself from what is actually happening. But yes, it's ridiculous.
Why are you twirling? Yeah. They're twirling more than they did at the end of Beauty and the Beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, it is. There's a little bit of that going on. She's full of emotion. She's,
of course,
she's finding out her daughter's dead, but he has no emotion on his face. Like the whole thing, he's done this 1,000 times, and he's seen so many dead bodies in such awful situations that he's numb to it. He has no more emotion. When his wife is screwing around on him, he has no emotion. He is numb completely to his core. And this is the thing with, he's a grizzled old detective. And that's the fact of the matter. That's what happens over years. And we're going to get into it next scene with him and his wife. But I've done death notifications before, and I've had people collapse in my arms when I told them what happened to their loved one. But I haven't seen enough carnage and trauma to become numb to it. It still affects me. Even 23 years later, I still see it, and it still affects me because I work in a small town, and it happens. But I also get these big city guys, when they work an entire career of this shit, they completely numb over. I'm not a director, and I don't know if this is what Michael Mann's going for, but if I'm a betting man, I would say that's what he's going for. It's just to show how numb Al Pacino's character is.
Numb, but dancing.
Yeah, he's doing a little twirl.
When I saw that, I was just like, of course, it's just a movie. What you've gone through is real life, and bless you, Doug, for doing that for those poor families, because I know you would be a very good man for doing that, the way you would present it. But for the film, it's to see like a hokey Beauty and the Beast dance. I'm not sure what happens.
Yeah, it's dramatized, obviously, for this.
He goes back to the party where the wife is. He asks her, why didn't you go home with everybody? Why are you still here? She's like, well, I wanted to wait for you. And she goes, you got to be with me sometimes. I know you got a busy life and all this stuff, but when you're with me, I want you to be human. He's like, what do you want me to do? And this is his answer. Well, how do you want me to be around you? Here we go.
You live among the remains of dead people. You read the terrain. You search for signs of passing.
Sure, but I don't know if I missed it.
No, not yet.
That's the only thing you're committed to. The rest is the mess you leave as you pass through. What I don't understand is why I can't cut loose of you.
I can't quit you. Oh, I think I did pass it. Sorry.
Oh, did you? That was after all of that. I thought he had the last word in this.
You know why?
Or here.
You prefer the normal routine. We fuck, then you lose the power of speech.
Because I got to hold on to my angst. I preserve it because I need it. It keeps me sharp, on the edge, where I got to be.
Did I miss again?
I think it's coming.
Okay.
You never told me I'd be excluded.
Oh, here we go. So she's basically saying you're not here. What are you? You're here, but you're not here. You're like typical.
Yeah.
You're more than your job. Be with me, and I get it. But it's kind of a trope in movies. I understand. But I just love what he says. You want me to come home and tell you this? It's just a funny line.
I told you when we hooked up, baby, that you were going to have to share me with all the bad people and all the ugly events on this planet.
And I bought into that sharing because I love you. I love you fat, bald, money, no money, driving a bus. I don't care. But you have got to be present like a normal guy some of the time. That's sharing. This is not sharing. This is leftovers.
I see. What I should do is come home and say, "Hi, honey. Guess what? I walked into this house today where this junkie asshole just fried his baby in a microwave because it was crying too loud. So let me share that with you."
It's either a very big microwave or very small.
Yeah.
That's all I could get from that.
Yeah.
It would have been better if he said they threw them in the oven. Okay, pot roast, that could fit.
Yeah, you roast them. But shit like this happens. Look,
I know, man. I can't.
Please,
I know.
I don't want to do this on this podcast because I think for the most part we're like a comedy podcast. But
Right.
if you will indulge me, can I get real for a quick second?
Of course.
The stuff that we carry with us as law enforcement officers, it's hard to explain that to loved ones, especially like my ex-wife and me. There's a reason why she's my ex-wife. I was never able to relay the shit that I dealt with on the job to her as like a venting process. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But my current wife now, she was an EMT. She's a nurse, an emergency room nurse. So she gets it. So we have a great relationship.
Much younger. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. We're able to share that stuff. And she understands.
Trauma. She's incredible accident trauma and the suicides and all, just the ugly side of that.
And you mentioned the ugly side. All right. The ugly side of law enforcement now is police officers take their own lives at a astronomical rate because of shit that they keep in that they can't share. Mental health is such a big issue, and guys are guys, and they don't want to. I don't need that. They don't believe in therapy and stuff like that. I see a therapist. I think it's a great thing for everybody, especially cops, because you can't hold that. These guys here, these guys in the mid 90s, of course this is dramatized, but it's not that far off from what was real back then. Like those guys were built different. They can keep this in. But they went home and they weren't like family men. They went home and they were in their own prisons and stuff like that, you know, at home while the wives raise their kids. But like nowadays, you have to get that out because it's the last resort is putting a gun in your mouth, and nobody wants that. This right here, I really resonated with him saying that because I know the fight, the battle of not being able to tell somebody that because they can't really wrap their head around it. But now that I feel so much lighter because I can talk to my wife about stuff like this.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's just me preaching. Sorry.
No, stop it. I'm glad you have somebody that can do that for you. That's good. While you're talking about something very serious and powerful, I just found a young picture of Kelly Preston. So
let's see it. Please be one of her topless ones.
For the sake of the podcast. So this is actually a signed photograph. She sent someone.
Oh,
yeah. I'll save it for after that. We're on the last scene here. Up for today's episode. It's basically now we know that Robert called his girlfriend Judging Amy, and he's invited her to come to New Zealand or whatever to see the Hobbits, and and he says, "Well." She's like, "Why are you doing this? I don't really know you." And he explains he's getting a little bit desperate here. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and he wants to maybe find love in his life at this time of his life. And this is what he says.
I don't know.
What's there to know?
Are you married?
What?
You come and go.
Last thing I am is married. I'm a needle starting at zero, going the other way, a double blank. And all of a sudden, someone like you comes along.
You don't know me, Neil.
I know enough.
So this is the scene where Katie's pretending she's judging Amy. She loves Robert here. Oh yeah,
she looks good in this scene.
Oh, she's very pretty. Her hair is a little bit wonky. It's the hair, but it's too much hair. That's just
like the way like she's looking at him. She has like this.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say desperate, but it's like a forlonging look. You know.
Well, she's slipping off the chair for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's a young Kelly.
Yes. Yes. That's
Right.
exactly the era I was talking about.
Yeah, this is when she was married to Waingro.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Gorgeous.
And so she signed this here, all the best to somebody. Can you imagine be married to John Travolta trying to pretend you're not gay?
I know. Does she have kids with him?
I think so.
Oh.
She was gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Natural beauty.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, that is the end of our episode. Thank you so much for coming on, talking part 2 of our Heat coverage. This next 34 minutes of film. There is a guest coming on who might be the final guest. They want to be the final guest because apparently they don't like the film. They volunteered to come on this film to shite on it, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. But
well, I mean, it's interesting to get another perspective, but.
Yeah, and that's fair because, I mean, I'm sure they're going to say that it wasn't all horrible, but they have things to say apparently, and that's fine.
Okay.
Doug, is there anything you'd like to plug before we end this episode?
Yes, the Frank Stallone Who Is This Guy podcast. It's about a monthly review of Frank's Instagram and his egocentric ramblings, and he's a wealth just comedy, unintentional comedy. It doesn't mean to be funny, but we find the funny in it.
So yeah, Doug and I do that. So go ahead and just Google Frank Stallone Who Is This Guy podcast. And if you want to hear a couple guys like me, Doug, roast Frank, have good humor, fun with him. We have a good time covering his life, and we have it on record. He watches our show. And I don't think he's a fan of it, but he watches it.
You don't say.
So, but we appreciate Frank and his opinions that we comment on. We comment on his comments. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. This was part 2 of Heat. 3 more parts to go. Thanks everyone for listening and enjoying all the shows on the Director's Chair Network. Again, we're covering Michael Mann this season. Check out my coverage of Ed Zwick. And yeah, thanks for watching.